welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. The Ministry of Commerce participates in the Summit of the Industrialization of Africa. France maintains its firm position against Italy in the Ocean Viking. Those were our major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment, Mr. Hassan Hamad Ibrahim, participated in Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from 22 to 24 November, a regional ministerial meeting of countries of the Code of Conduct of Djibouti. This meeting was caused by the International Maritime Organization, and this one at the request of the signatory statute of the Code of Conduct under the theme Developing Regional Capacities in the light of the decrease in international efforts combined with recent geopolitical events that have significantly influenced the shipping patterns and vulnerabilities in the region. During this high-level session, the ministry was accompanied by Mr. Ali Mirah Shahim, Director of Maritime Affairs, and Mr. Ali Musa Muhammad, the Head of Affairs of the Djiboutian Consulate in Jeddah. The agenda of this ministerial meeting included several points of major importance discussed, among which is the most important was the revisation of the Djibouti Code as amended and the prospects in the years to come. The main objective of this high-level meeting was to assist the DCOC signatory statute in implementing the strategies and work plans that have recently been developed to enhance maritime security in the Western Indian Ocean and Gulf of Aden. Especially, discussions focused on the submission of an effective capacity during metrics based on the needs and priorities of the signatory statute, as well as the replenishment of the trust funds, where an approval was made to the friends of the DCOC. As usual, the host country made the opening speech of this session, followed by the Secretary General of the IMO from London by video conference. Several African presidents have gathered in Niamey for an extraordinary summit on the African Union on Industrialization and a session of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum presided Friday of the opening ceremony of the African Union Summit on Economic Diversification in Africa and a session of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The ceremony took place at the Mahatma Gandhi International Conference Center in the presence of several African leaders, including the current chairman of ECOWAS and president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaro Sissoco Embalo. In his opening speech, Mohamed Bazoum recalled that Africa's share of world trade is 4%, deploring the low level of industrialization of Africa. The double summit is part of the Week for the Industrialization of Africa, which was launched Monday in the Nigerian capital. On the occasion of high-level panels, conferences, and exhibitions have been organized in residence in Niamey. The 17th Summit of African Heads of State in Industrialization and Economic Diversification opened, which under the chairmanship of the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Mr. Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, and the President of the African Commission, Mr. Moussa Faki. More than 55 African delegations participated in the summit. The Minister of Commerce, Mr. Mohamed Warsimede, represented the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, at this summit. During his speech, the Minister of Trade recalled the Republic of Djibouti draws its economic achievements from its strong participation in global trade thanks to its geostrategic position, which places it one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. However, despite its logistical assets, the government is focusing on diversification to increase its resilience to global shocks. The objective of inclusion was recalled that this extraordinary summit was an opportunity to focus on the prospects for industrialization of Africa. Finally, the Djiboutian delegation led by the Ministry of Trade was composed of the Ambassador of Djibouti to the African Union, Mr. Abdi Haibe, officials of the Ministries of Trade and Economy in charge of industry. The place of June 27th, symbol of the sovereignty of our country, has hosted yesterday afternoon, Friday, November 25th, the third edition of a 10 kilometers race Air Djibouti, organized by national company Air Djibouti in partnership with the Athletics Federation of Djibouti and the Djibouti Olympic Committee. This edition of this year saw the participation of some 300 athletes composed of young men and girls from several sports formations of the Djibouti Armed Forces, the Republican Guard, the Authority of Ports and Free Zones of Djibouti, the Coast Guard, the University of Djibouti, and the National Police. The initiative comes from the General Manager of Air Djibouti, Mr. Abdurrahman Ali Abdullahi, who through this annual sporting event promotes national athletics. ceremony, rich in music and folkloric dances, organized at the end of the successive arrivals of the athletes of the different categories, the General Manager of Air Djibouti, Mr. Abdurrahman Ali Abdullahi, the President of the FDA, Saeed Ismail Hassan, and the other officials present at this sporting event gave to the first five of each event trophies and envelopes containing prizes such as money. The country's schools lived to the rhythm of the Citizens' Day. Students and teachers joined hands to clean their schools and paint the walls, but also to the classrooms and administrative and sanitary blocks. The parents of the students also mobilized to give a special shine to the schools. In particular, they restored the school gardens and greened the courtyards by planting new trees. The watchword was the campaign of schools initiated by the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, His Excellency Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud. The Citizens' Day is a moment of gathering and commitment in favor of a pleasant school environment to put children in the best conditions for learning. The MENFAP has thought of these days as a vector of awareness for the national community, which must take ownership of and watch over its schools. It is also the ideal way to exalt the feeling of belonging to the Djiboutian nation and thus strengthen the national social cohesion around a common base. Since its launch a few years ago, the Citizens' Day has become an unavoidable appointment for men and women of goodwill who gather to bring their touch of generosity, their spirit of initiative, and their commitment to a pleasant and attractive environment for both children and their teachers. Let's listen now to the reaction of one of the fellow teachers who were present.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to participate. We celebrate the day of our school, and we haven't more things to say here. I haven't more things to say here, but we try here to make a lot of activities, such as the security of road. How to avoid when you across a road is very important, and we are here also to make some sensitization, like when we do or when you across a road, it is very important to look the right and the left to across. This is the title of the day.
In close cooperation with the Ministry of Interior, USAID organized in Arta the official launching ceremony of 24 clusters from 5 interior regions under the team Civil Society Organization and local authorities working hand in hand for the benefit of all Djiboutians. This project of support to the engagement of civil society in the local development process concerns the associations of the interior regions. The ceremony of the first phase of the grants awarded by the support of civil society engagement in the local development process project funded by USAID. The ceremony was attended by the U.S. Ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Jonathan Brath, USAID Djibouti Director of Ethiopia, Tim Sten. This project, which began in November 2021, involves about 24 associations from the 5 interior regions that have been selected to receive training to strengthen their organizational capacity. The project also provides these organizations with a common workplace in each of the 5 interior regions. After the training, each association will receive $10,000 to implement a public interest project. The goal of these grants is to support the development of an ecosystem conducive to increase citizen participation in Djibouti's local development process. A multidisciplinary medical caravan composed of a group of 6 doctors from Al-Rahma Hospital went yesterday Friday to the Medical Hospital Center, CMH, in the city of Tajora to provide free consultations and free health care to patients suffering from various pathologies such as gynecology, orthopedics, or ophthalmology or internal pathology and ENT. The initiative undertaken by the humanitarian organization Al-Rahma International in collaboration with the Ministry of Health mobilized doctors from Al-Rahma Hospital, and the medicines were distributed free of charge to patients, the majority of whom were women and children. A total of 325 patients were examined and medicines were administered to all patients. Thus, about 10 cases were referred to Al-Rahma Hospital in Djibouti for cataract operations. The main objective of this initiative is to bring medical care and services closer to the poorest social strata, especially children and the elderly, who are the most vulnerable age groups. The speaker said that the organization of this medical convoy is part of the efforts made by the Hospital Rahma to accompany the steps of the government, represented by the Ministry of Health, to provide specialized medical care to citizens, especially in the interior regions of the country. As part of the 4th edition of the National Week of Disability, the National Agency for Persons with Disabilities launched this morning, Saturday, 26 November, in Ali Subih, the National Week of Disability. The official launching ceremony was attended by the Prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adan Migan, the Director General of APH, Ali Said Mahmoud, the President of the Regional Council, Chairman Hassan Alale, Honorable MP Elmi Mahabi Wais, as well as officials and personalities with special needs. The officials each emphasized the ambitious policy of the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, in the protection and promotion of the rights of people with disabilities. The head of AMPH highlighted the many strong achievements of his agency, which enjoys unwavering support from the Presidency of the Republic, which is the direct supervisory authority. He expressed his sincere thanks to all the partners and participants, and this donation aimed to support and strengthen the need of people with special needs in the Asajok region. This is the message of the Director General of MPH, Mr. Duali Said Mahmoud, who emphasized the direction and promotion of the rights of people with disabilities.
baahida gaarka meel kasta way jirtaa, gobol kasta way jirtaa, Djibouti way jirtaa. ducaada agence nationale des handicapés iyo madaxweynaheena Ismaaciil Cumar Geele, dowladda oo dhan waa kay u guntasay. halka maanta la gaarsiiyey waad arkaysiin, halkaasna ka sii wadaynaa. annaguna haddaan nahay madaxda gobolka Casaad, diyaar baan u nahay.
Shifting gears towards the international scene now, Nigeria on Wednesday launched new banknotes. A move to the central bank says will help reduce inflation and money laundering. The new 20, 500, and 1,000 Naira bills are due to start being used in December. According to Central Bank Governor Gwedin Efele, more than 80% of the 3.2 trillion Naira in circulation in Nigeria is out of circulation. The new bills with enhanced security will help his institution implement better monetary policy strategies. Still on the international scene, France maintained its firm position against Italy at the extraordinary meeting of the European Union Interior Ministers convened in Brussels. The following the Ocean Viking affair, French Interior Minister has repeated his position that boats rescuing people in the Mediterranean Sea should only dock and disembark rescued migrants in the southern countries. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.